Alright, here we will begin a series of modules focused on collaborative and administrative purposes, two topics that go hand in hand. For this first section, we will dive into the topic of issue management in ArchiCAD. Through a practical example, I will show you how to use ArchiCAD's built-in features to create and manage issues, delegate tasks, create and include views with markups within your project. As always, take the course at your own pace. Feel free to pause the videos and revisit any part as many times as you need. And don't forget to check out all the supporting materials I have attached throughout the lessons. Having said that, let's get started. Alright, so let's start off with the specifics, and the interesting thing here is that this section and the next one, which is about the revision management, go hand by hand. This is what we are going to do before, and revision management is what's going to happen after. I'm going to get into this topic in the next section, but let's comment a little bit about what happens before. So interesting thing here is that ArchiCAD will allow you a nice workflow when reviewing your project with a client. So let's say you have the first version of your project ready. You want to hand it out to your client, to your boss, to whoever you want to review the project with, and you want to review everything with an amazing workflow provided by ArchiCAD. So issue management, as name implies, will allow you to, when some type of issue, a change, a modification, a new element, something happens with the project, you can right away take notes in more of a BIM way, we could say that. Not in a classical way where you take out your sketchpad and simply take a note, or maybe you draw your floor plan, but you can take amazing notes using all the different functions provided by ArchiCAD. So what we're going to cover is the issue manager. Okay, we're going to start out with the issue manager. I'm going to explain a little bit about how everything over here works, how you can create issues, how you can create snapshots of what is the issue, the different status that you can assign to your issues, the comments, and all the metadata and properties that you can also include within your issue. Once you create your issues, we can also use the issue organizer in order to, as the name implies, organize everything according. Okay, you can even assign a priority, you can assign a name, you can assign a status, you can visualize your issues in multiple formats, you can filter out your issues, you can take all the issues you want. Okay, we're going to work on a sample model. We also can visualize the issues if we need to create some type of change, which is about, let's say, about deleting some elements. It's going to highlight everything in red. New elements are going to be highlighted in green. Elements that need some modification will be highlighted in another color. Okay, and the interesting thing is that you can also create issues and manage issues in BIMX. Okay, which is a mobile application that will allow you to visualize a model, but also review your model. And if anything arises in the reviewing process, from BIMX, you can create an issue and it will auto-synchronize into ArchiCAD. So that's an amazing thing we also have inside this workflow. Okay, so pretty much this is what we're going to work on. So I'm going to ask you to make sure you open up ArchiCAD. So for the next lesson, I provide you the base model and we start with the workflow. Alright, so let's start off our master workflow. First things first, I'm going to provide you this model, issue management. It's pretty much the same model we already used in renovation and, if I remember well, in another topic, design options. So it's pretty much the same generic floor plan, just for experimental purposes. And let's comment first things first, how we can create an issue, how we can activate all these functions. So you got multiple ways to activate the issue manager and issue organizer. In first place, you can find it over here in document, and right over here you find the issue manager and the issue organizer. Okay, this is what we're going to do in first place when we want to review a project, create changes, manage changes, and all that stuff. And in second place, we proceed with the change manager. But this is a topic I'm going to explain in deep detail in the next section. Okay, so with issue manager and issue organizer, we will take notes. We will link everything ready for a change. And with the change manager, we will execute the change or resolve the issue. Okay, so in first place, with document, issue manager, issue organizer, you can find them over here. You can also activate this from window, palettes, and right over here you find the issue manager and the issue organizer. This is a second way on how you can activate these functions. And you have the best way of them all, which is going to save you just so many clicks. For example, if let's say your client will tell you something like, okay, I don't really like the layout of this room. I want to change the layout of this room. So let's take the note. What you can do is simply select all your elements that will be later on adjusted. Okay, you simply right click on your 3D model, or you can do so in 2D, and you can use this option which will automatically create an issue also related to these elements. Okay, so you activate the add to new issue button over here. Let's try it out. Add to new issue. So it's going to skip the issue manager stuff, and it's going to directly create a new issue. Okay, so let's simply test it out. I'm just going to create a new issue called something like new layout in living room. Okay, let's press OK. And if you notice, it's even going to automatically highlight all the elements, and it's going to automatically link all the elements to this current issue. Okay, so this is the best way on how you can create a completely new issue. I'm just going to press Ctrl Z so I can undo this real quick. But before, just take a moment before we jump into the next lesson. Check out the issue manager. This is something we're going to comment in the upcoming lessons. And also the issue organizer. Once we create multiple issues, this is where we can visualize everything. Okay, so take a moment. Check this out, and in the next lesson we can now dive into the issue manager. Okay, so you open up ArchiCAD, you are reviewing the project with your client, and multiple suggestions arise. So let's create an example. Let's say that, for example, the topic we already covered was renovation. And if you remember well, in renovation we said we want to do something like this. So let's mark this down before the client tells us, okay, I want to renovate this space, I want something else. So in first place, in the issue manager, what you want to do is click right over here, create a new issue. Okay, you can name the issue however you want. Let's name this something like bedroom renovation. Okay, and also you will find that each issue has this icon. You can simply click this icon. It's going to open the details for this issue, or in other words, the non-graphical information or the metadata and the properties. Okay, so you can, for example, assign someone responsible. This is especially useful if you are working with teamwork. Now, we're not getting into teamwork just yet. This is something I'm going to cover in the upcoming lessons, but it's also amazing that you can also assign somebody responsible of clearing out this issue. Okay, you have a status that you can also assign with your issues. You have a priority. I apologize if this is in Spanish. We can always change this. No worries. You have the type of issue that you can also rearrange. Okay. So yeah, you can assign multiple types of data. Right over here, you can create labels for your issues. And also you can add some type of description. Let's say that the issue consists of demolishing the wall, so we can renovate the whole bedroom, something like that. Okay, so yeah, you can mess around with the metadata and the properties over here. Feel free to do so however you want. Let's press OK so we can create the first issue. Okay, so the first issue has been created. Each time you create an issue, it's going to be listed in the project organizer right over here. Okay, now you can also, for example, add some type of view. This is just a graphical note that you can take. So let's say that the issue is going to be related to this
wall. We want to demolish this wall so we can renovate the whole space. So I can take or attach, for example, a screenshot right over here. I'm just going to position the 3D view something like this. And we can simply hit this icon over here, which is going to add some type of view. Okay, let's name this perspective 1. Press OK. So we got a new view over here. And we can also maybe add some type of view of the garden we got over here, something like that. It's going to be nice. Let's add a secondary view, perspective 2. So you can, for example, add as many views as you want for each of your issues. And the amazing thing, if you click one of these views, it's going to automatically position the camera back to the original position. Okay, so that's an amazing thing you can do. You can take graphical notes with each issue. Now, something else that you can do, which is completely amazing, is that for each issue, you can assign or you can link elements. And you can do so with different types of status. You can highlight elements. You can specify whether this element is a new element or a new proposal. You can specify whether this is something that we have to modify. Or if your client told you to delete something, you can also assign this to delete category. If I remember well, these categories are fixed. You won't be able to change them. So just keep that small detail in mind. But let's try it out. So let's say we got a bedroom renovation over here. So what we have to do in first place is that we have to demolish this wall. So I'm going to select the wall. I'm going to select the window. And right over here, I'm going to press the plus icon in the delete category. So let's assign the wall and the window to the delete category. Okay, so as you can see, ArchiCAD will automatically mark this in red. Okay, and as long as this issue is present, this is going to have a filter turn on. Okay, and you can also do the same, for example, with this slab. If this slab is going to be modified because, for example, we want to create some type of L-shaped slab over here and maybe some type of opening, we can also assign this to modify. Okay, so we create some type of reminder that we need to modify this slab, and the same will happen over here. If you notice, it's going to assign some type of filter. We could say a yellowish filter. If I select this wall and assign this to modify, it's going to have some type of filter. There it is. Well, it's some type of really weird filter, if I'm completely honest with you, but there it is. You can also select an element and remove this from assign elements if you simply press the minus icon over here. And this is how you can clear an element from an issue. Okay, so you can, for example, also double click each element and it's going to highlight it or select it. So this is an amazing way on how you can take notes with ArchiCAD. If your client will tell you, okay, we need to do a change over here, we need to do another change over here, the issue manager is just way too good and way too underrated of a function to not be used in ArchiCAD. So you definitely want to use this function because it's completely amazing. Now, finally, but not least, you can also add comments if you want to add some type of specifics. So let's say that we create the bedroom renovation and our client told us, okay, we want to create a sidewalk or a new slab over here. And he told us that the width of this slab must at least measure 1.20 meters. So we don't want to forget this, okay? So let's go ahead, add a simple comment. This is going to be something like bedroom renovation. We have to demolish the wall and add a door, okay? Also, the new L-shaped slab in the garden needs to have at least a width of 1.20 meters. Apologies for my English, I'm trying my best. Let's add the comment over here, and this is how you can take also notes with the issue manager. So if you notice, it's a quite simple function, quite an amazing thing to have in ArchiCAD. You can review your project with your client. If the client wants to review in printed out plans, you can open up ArchiCAD as a secondary help and right away take notes directly inside ArchiCAD. And everything, and each node is also going to be linked into your BIM model. If I remember well, you can also filter out the issues by categories, by parameters. You can play around with these functions and really use the parameter sets that much. And you can select all the elements in your issues. It's going to select everything that needs at least a change, a modify, or something's going on over here. So with this, we can say that we are pretty much done with the issue. How about we create few more issues just for the sake of practice? Let's say that another detail that our client told us, okay, I don't really like the layout going on over here. So how about we change this? Let's say that I want a new distribution over here and new proposal. We can use design options over here, but let's first off mark this as an issue. So the first step, once again, we create an issue. Let's name this new living room layout proposal, something like that. The interesting thing here is that you can chain the issues. You can add this new issue as a current response to another issue. So let's say that maybe the client told us, okay, we want a renovation, but hey, there's an extra detail that I forgot to tell you. Okay, let's create another issue, which is going to be as a response to this other issue. So you can actually create a chain of different issues, okay? New living room, okay, living room layout, just keep it simple. Press OK. Let's select all the elements we want to add to the issue, which are going to be these ones. We can also highlight them, simply highlight them to mark them with something, that something needs to be solved over here. And let's name and let's add a simple perspective over here. Okay, I'm going to add a comment, new proposal required, something like that. So we got a second issue going over here. And how about we create a third issue, which will also include a new quick proposal. So let's say you are using ArchiCAD, you showed ArchiCAD really quick to your client, and your client told you, okay, I really want something going on over here, and I want some type of furniture going on over here. So we can actually, we can actually also model something directly inside ArchiCAD, okay? But you still need to report this issue to your boss. So your boss approves the change you made quickly with your client. So let me show you something else that we can also do. Let's create a basic slab over here, and let's change the something. Let's add some type of different surface over here, something like this. Okay, looking good. And how about we add some type of furniture, which is going to be something different or something basic. Okay, so let's add maybe one over here, one over here. Going to rotate this real quick. There we have it. And also create an extra copy here. Let's add another table, which is going to be a basic table over here. And that's it. So with your client, you got this quick solution. Your client currently liked it, but you still need to report this solution to your boss. So in order you don't forget to report this, you can also create, for example, a new issue, which is called report new change to, okay, let's keep it simple, report new change, okay? We can select the elements right over here, and we simply add them to the new, okay? It's going to highlight everything in green, and the amazing thing here is that you can use color codes to remember what's going on with each element. Red, demolish, yellow, we want to modify this, blue is going to be highlight, green is going to be new, and yes, we got 4 different colors and 4 different types of issues going on in our project, okay? So yeah, this is how you can use this amazing function. As always, take a moment, create some issues for your project, and in the next lesson, I'm going to explain something even much. And for the next lesson, I'm going to explain how you can also create sketches inside ArchiCAD with a really simple method. Now, besides the ability to create all types of issues and registering issues within ArchiCAD, you can actually create sketches directly with ArchiCAD to showcase a little bit better the solution. Okay, so How about we take maybe the bedroom renovation issue? I'm just going to click over here, and you can simply double click to select an issue. Okay, let's go back to this view we got over here. So the interesting thing here is that you got this option, additional options going on over here. You can visualize everything in list for the views. You can visualize your views in medium or large images, but you can also redefine the view. You can rename this. You can also view the image as an external type of file. Okay, well, inside ArchiCAD, but you also have the ability to mark up the image, to export the image, to import an image. You got a bunch of different options you can mess around. So for example, markup image is going to allow you to directly, okay, I'm going to do it once again. Let's select this image over here, click the markup image option, there it is. So it's going to open up the image in our Windows editor, well, in my case, in the Windows editor. So what I can do is simply to start marking the image directly with different types of tools and simply save the image. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to maybe edit the image. Let's see, we can edit this a little bit. Let's see if we can make some type of sketch. Let's say that with our client, we said, okay, I want to create some type of door over here. The new layout for this wall will include some door right over here. Okay, this is going to be the door. And we also want two small windows that are really thin going on over here. So this is going to be the new change. Okay, so we can proceed and simply save the image, save this. It's going to be saved, and look at that. Okay, so you can actually start marking, you can start sketching directly with the image, which is completely amazing. If you double click this, it's still going to position the camera back to the image, but you can also check out the sketch if you click over here and you hit the view image. It's going to open up the sketch image, which is completely amazing because now you can comment the changes with your client, come up with the solutions on the go, potential solutions, and save them directly inside ArchiCAD. So the workflow is completely centered within ArchiCAD, which is totally amazing. So let's create another example, but this time I'm not going to use the markup image function. How about we maybe export the image because we want to use Photoshop or something else. So let's export this real quick in JPG type of format. Okay, let's save this. I'm going to save this on my desktop, and let's proceed to right click it, maybe open this with Paint. Okay, I'm just going to open up, use Paint real simple over here, and let's quickly sketch this out. Let's say, okay, I really want to do something like that. The solution is going to be really simple over here. I want to sketch this real simple, something like that. This is going to be the new slab that I want to create. We got the door, which is going to be marked maybe in blue. Okay, so let's mark this in blue. There it is. And the new tree position remains pretty much the same. Okay, we maybe add some type of elements going on over here. And let's say that this is going to be the new sketch. Okay, so let's proceed to save the image. I'm simply going to save this. It's not going to automatically import it back into ArchiCAD the same way we already did with markup image. But what we can do is, for example, select this image and simply use the import image function over here. We can select the new sketch that we want to add, or maybe you create a sketch on some type of book or some type of notebook or some type of paper. You take a photo and you want to import this into ArchiCAD. It's completely possible. So you can import whichever image you want to use for this issue. So let's import this back, and there it is. We have created multiple sketches inside ArchiCAD. Maybe, well, what I'm also trying to say is that, let's say your client suggested some type of material. Let's say that maybe your client also came up with a suggestion of using this material for the wall on the exterior, and you want to remember exactly this image. So let's say that maybe you want to save this on your desktop, and you can also switch this let's import the image, the reference image for this wall, and there it is. So if you notice, if you also double click the image over here, it's going to remain, the position of the camera remains as original. And you can also hit the view image option, and you can visualize which image, sketch, or reference you have marked or referenced or saved within these issues. So creating views, creating sketches within the issue manager is completely amazing function that will provide you so many opportunities. As always, take some time, check out this amazing function, and now we can proceed commenting a little bit about the issue organizer. So the issue organizer is quite a simple function that, as the name implies, will allow you to organize, manage all your created issues. So let's activate this real quick. Now, if you have the same bug, and yes, this is some type of bug going on over here because it worked perfectly the same the first time, but the second time for some reason it doesn't really want to work for some reason. Okay, even if I filter out this as best as possible, if you open up the issue organizer, it has to look something like this. This is a pop-up version of the issue organizer. In the issue manager, you simply hit the title over here and you will get a list or view of your issues. Okay, but right over here we got some type of bug going on that Graphisoft still needs to attend to. So we can simply fix this with maybe changing this to the maybe thumbnail view, something like that. The amazing thing over here is that you can also, in first place, you can filter out your issues by parameters. You can filter them out by status, priority, type, due date, responsibilities. So yeah, you got multiple ways to filter out your issues. Or you can simply open up a list view of all the issues. This is my preferred type of visualization. But let's say you have not only 3 issues, you have 200 issues. So if you have just way too many issues, the best way to manage them would be according to specific parameters. Okay? So yeah, you have an amazing way to manage issues. Now, since this one is bugged, I think that I have to proceed using the pop-up version of the issue manager, which is a little bit better because this one doesn't really bug for some reason, but whatever. You can assign name. Well, you got multiple ways to manage each issue. For example, you can assign a status, whether you have to open this issue, whether it has been assigned, whether the issue has been solved, or the issue is finished. Okay, if you are done with the issue, you can, for example, mark this as finished, or you can delete the issue. Okay, you can also assign a priority if the priority is low, medium, high, or completely urgent. So you can proceed with the most important ones first, and then later on the least important ones. So let's set as maybe a high priority for this one, medium for this one, and low for this one. So in this case, yeah, you can also start visualizing your issues through priorities. If, for example, I assign medium priority for this issue, it's going to simplify everything in medium priority and manage the high priority issues independently through the structure type of visualization, which is completely amazing. So you definitely want to prioritize everything. It's going to help you so much in your workflow. If you're working using teamwork, multiple agents are collaborating on the same project. You can also assign and divide the workload in multiple agents. So let's say that you want to assign this issue to somebody else, so that person will solve it. You simply assign the teamwork owner through this function, and pretty much that's it. Okay, and the due date, you can always assign, okay, so this one, we need to finish this one. This is the most important one for tomorrow or maybe for Monday. So you can also assign a due date, so we keep track of how urgent, how much time we require for each issue. So the organizer is quite amazing. You can manage or assign issues accordingly. You can also mess around with these options. You can check out the issue details. You can check out the issue tags. You can also assign tags. Something amazing here is that you can personalize your tags. This is going to help you so much with your issue management process, okay? So right away, something else that we need to fix is that everything still is in Spanish. So if you want to create new tags or you want to rename this, you simply hit this one. This is going to be low. This is going to be medium. This one is high. And the last one is going to be urgent. You can also add an extra tag, super urgent, okay? So something like that, okay? For status, we can create multiple status, as many as we want. Open, okay, signed, solved, closed, okay? And the type of issue, question, note, suggestion. I don't really know the English word for this one. Let's name it something easy as a requirement. Collision and modeling problem. Apologies for my English once again. Hopefully I wrote everything correctly. Yeah, let's press OK. So yes, you got multiple tags, and there it is. If you notice, it has been renamed, and now we even get a super urgent tag, which is completely amazing. Okay, you got the status, and yeah, pretty much you got multiple ways of managing your issues. Okay, you can delete issues, you can mess around with this option, you can even create new issues in the organizer. So pretty much the issue organizer, this window is pretty much the same as the pop-up version of the issue organizer. I still think that since we get a small bug going on over here, because if we activate the list view, it's going to be completely blank. And this is completely bugged. It's something going on over here. So I would recommend that you hold, for now, use the pop-up version. We don't really use the organizer that often. We usually stick with the manager, but because this is where all the magic will happen. So hopefully with this, it is completely clear how you can also manage issues through the organizer. As always, take a moment, mess around with this amazing option. And for the next lesson, we can all continue checking out even more functions. Alright, so we have commented the manual way of registering issues, but you can also register issues through different functions. For example, model collisions, the model compare function, which I explain in the revision management in full detail. I'm going to go ahead and explain it just in a brief manner. And also we can create issues through BMX, and we can create issues through teamwork. So we got 4 different extra functions where we can create issues. So let's start with the first one. If I remember well, in constructive solutions with ArchiCAD, especially in the map modeler section, we commented an amazing function which was the collision detection. So let's say that we create some type of beam going on over here. I'm just going to create a simple element here, okay? And let's say that we got some type of collision going on over here where the beam was positioned in the worst way possible, and now it intersects or it collides with elements that we don't really want to collide with. Okay, we got a terrible collision going on over here. So if you remember, we can always automatically check the model for collisions. The way was on design, and we go over here to model check, and we use the collision detection function we can find over here. Okay, so let's go ahead, design, model check, collision detection. What we want to specify is going to be criteria number 1 with criteria number 2. For criteria 1, it's going to be the whole model except beams. Okay, and criteria number 2, so well, in criteria 1, what's going to happen is that ArchiCAD will take the whole model except the beam. And for criteria number 2, it's going to be the beam. So it's going to check collisions of beams with other elements. Okay, let's see how it behaves. Let's check the model. So right away, it's going to detect 2 different collisions for the beam. Collision 1 happens over here, and collision 2 happens over here. There we go. So it's going to mark the window, this opening with the beam, and it's going to mark this beam with the window. So we got a clear issue going on over here, which arises through the model check report. So you got something interesting going on over here. If you got a collision and you want to include it as an issue, you can simply hit over here, create a new issue. Let's go ahead. This is going to be solve beam collision, something like that. Let's press OK. And there it is. If you notice, it has been added as a new issue. Now, what we can do is simply go ahead to the issue manager. Well, let's go with issue manager. Let's select the solve beam issue over here. Let's add a new view, which is going to be this one. How about we use a new function we haven't commented yet. Right click this view and activate the redefine with current view. Okay, and let's select the beam, this element, the beam. Let's select the opening. And how about we maybe add this into modify. Okay, so instead of highlight, we want to highlight this with the modify filter. It's going to give us a yellow type of filter going on over here. So pretty much this is how you can use the collision detection. You use collision detections, and if ArchiCAD finds something funny going on in your project, you can altogether create an issue and directly register your issue. So give it a shot, check out this function, and for the next lesson, let's comment the same thing, but for another new function. Alright, so this is a function I cover in full detail in revision management. It's going to be covered in the next section. But I'm going to go ahead a little bit. I'm not going to explain this in full detail. I'm just going to go with the most important thing, which is how we can create an issue through comparing different versions of the model. So let's say we have created multiple the thing with issues is that it's going to duplicate elements. So keep that small detail in mind, because it's going to create something funny with your model. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But let's say that we maybe make some changes to the model. I'm going to delete maybe this window and maybe this. Okay, not the two. That's a little bit too much. How about we delete the furniture over here. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to create basic changes. I'm going to save this model as a copy, as something different. This is going to be modified. Okay, this is going to be a PLN type of file. Let's save the model. And now let's compare the current version of the model with the not modified version of the model. So what I'm going to do is, let's go over here, design. If I remember well, we have model compare right over here. This is a function we're going to use. Remember that this I cover in full detail in model compare function for the next section. So if you want to skip ahead, check out this function, feel free to do so. Okay. For now, I'm just going to go over here, model compare. I'm going to select the first model I want to compare, which is the current model I got over here. And let's browse for the original model we got in before we have created all the changes. So I'm going to take a second over here, and there it is. I'm simply going to select the original model I provided you at the very beginning of this lesson. So let's open this up. Let's select that we want to compare the 3D views we got in general, compare, and there it is. We get the compared type of model. So this function will allow you to visualize the after and the before and the after, in long story short. Okay, so this is the most important thing. How can we proceed with creating different issues from this option? Let's say you're visualizing the comparisons with your model. You find something funny going on over here, and you notice something interesting. Okay, so we got a significant change over here. For this current model, let's add a new issue because I noticed that I actually rather see the before. Something happened over here. So we need to reintegrate this as it was originally. So we got an issue going on over here. We simply select from the model changes the element that we want to link to the issue, right click it, and there it is. You got add to new issue function. So you can simply proceed. Well, let's restore furniture. That's the name for the issue. Okay, let's hit the details. This is going to be, well, looking good. Press OK, and let's add the view. Let's add a simple view, perspective 1. Okay, so yeah, you can create as many issues as you want from the model compare function. It's going to allow you to, for example, we also find something funny going on over here because by some accident we deleted this window and we also need to restore it. So we can, for example, go ahead and maybe select the window over here. We find the window, right click it, add to new issue, or we can also add it to the current issue as a new element. Okay, so we can highlight this also to the current issue. Okay, if you notice, it's going to select 3 different models, the furniture and the window. And we can also add, for example, the window to this current issue as a perspective 2. So yeah, pretty much with this, we have compared the model. We found that somebody deleted these elements by accident and now we want to restore them. So we have an issue reminding us that we need to restore the furniture. This is low priority and there it is. So as always, take a moment. If you want to skip ahead and check out the compare model function, feel free to do so. I explain this in full detail. Or if you want to proceed more directly to check out how you can create issues from the model compare function, feel free to do so. Now, finally, but not least, I'm not going to do this in real time because I don't have BMX for now. And also the thing here is that we need a premium BMX license, which, well, as an educational version of ArchiCAD, I don't have access to. But if you have the premium version of BMX, you also get this extra amazing function. So the thing here is that you got different BMX versions, standard BMX, BMX with a pro account, and BMX in teamwork. And one of these functions is this one, issue creation. So in the standard BMX version, which is, if I remember well, the free one, you won't have the possibility to create issues through BMX. But if you have the paid version of BMX and the teamwork version of BMX, you can also create issues. It's quite a simple function. You simply export your model as a BMX element, okay, as a BMX package. Right over here, export to Beam Cloud, or right over here, publish BMX hypermodel. You open up the BMX model in your BMX application, in your smartphone, in your iPad, wherever you want. And for example, you can continue navigating, checking out the model. If you find something funny in BMX, you can, for example, select this. Right over here, you can hit the create an issue button, and then you can simply add an attachment, a name, a description. You can create an attachment, which is some type of view from BMX, and then pretty much that's it. Okay, you create an issue through BMX. Once all the issues have been created, have been registered, what you can do is 2 things. One of which is going to be the possibility from BMX, you are going to export this as an external file. Okay, so you export the issue in an XML type of file or an external type of format, and inside ArchiCAD you copy that file from BMX to your computer, and then right over here you also get the possibility to import them. But keep in mind something really important. If you access the pop-up version of the issue organizer and click the options over here, you won't get the possibility to import this. it has to be strictly through the fixed version of the issue organizer. You have to activate the window issue organizer over here. And if you hit the options right over here, you get these two amazing options. You can import issues from an external file, or you can also import them through Beam Cloud. So that's an amazing thing you can also do. You don't really need to also import them locally with an external file. From Beamex, you synchronize the issues through Beam Cloud, and then you import everything from the cloud. Okay, or if it is through a file, you can proceed and import issues from Beamex through an external file. Okay, so this is how you can also use the issue manager and create different issues through Beamex. Once again, keep in mind that this is a paid type of function. In the standard version of Beamex, you're not going to be able to, but it's also a nice, amazing function to keep in mind.
As you have seen, issue management in ArchiCAD is a simple yet powerful feature that allows you to create all sorts of annotations and maintain an effective, centralized record within your Beam workflow. For the next module, we will focus on the second topic, revision management in ArchiCAD. This will be a direct expansion or continuation of the workflow we have just covered in this section, which will open up even more opportunities for administrative processes within ArchiCAD. As always, I recommend taking a short break before diving into the next lesson. Having said that, I will see you in the next module.